Hey, good morning and welcome back to GoodKnitKisses. I'm your host, Kristen. I hope you are doing well today and Happy New Year. It is 2017. Yay! I hope you guys had a wonderful and safe new year. Everybody got home okay and partied it up and whatever you decided to do. Thank you for joining me. Moving in a little late today, but I still made it before 9 my time, so yay! Good morning, Susan. Hi, welcome. I'm just going to sip on my coffee here. If you're joining me today, let me know where you're from and say hello. I always love that. We've got a little bit of things going on in the background. You might be able to see since I've been moving. I already pulled some of my looms off the wall, and there's a bunch of boxes back here. I see people hop on. Got my coffee. It took a little longer, and then got all set up. So. Man, I had taken all my equipment down, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get my tripod set back up. I wasn't even thinking I wasn't gonna be ready. Thank you for hopping on. Hey, Dana, she's in Tennessee. Hi, Brenda. Good morning. And Lori's in Wisconsin. Oh, that's right. Thank you for reminding me. Hey, Chris. And Chris, I think you're in California, right? Ada, good morning. Happy 2017. Good morning, Hazel. And oh man, so we've got some people who may be new today from the crochet crowd. If you are new from the crochet crowd and you happen to be joining me today, I would love to hear from you. Just say, hey, I'm from the crochet crowd, or CC. Well, that's fine too, or TCC. Hey, Sarah, you're from Atlanta. That's awesome. As you also say, hot Atlanta. I went there this one summer. Oh my gosh, I had to pass through there, and it was like, it's gorgeous. So humid there. Oh my goodness. Debbie, North Carolina. Ooh, pretty area. In Maine. Hazel, you're in Maine? Oh, awesome. Oh, you're Sacramento. Okay, yeah, that's right, Chris. Yes, yes, yes. Sandy, good morning. Oh, and she's in New York. Good morning, good morning. So oh, and Christina, she's in Texas. Yay, another Texan. Howdy. Hey, Debbie. Yeah, excuse me. My allergies have been acting up. I think I had too much of I have like a milk allergy, mild milk allergy. If I have too much, it kind of builds up in my system. And anyway, my throat is all swollen this morning. So I got to get something hot on my throat here. So I may sound funny because I'm like all like closed up. Too many awesome treats during the holidays, right? So anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. So Q&A Monday today is where you can ask me questions. Seriously, you can ask me whatever. I am in the process of moving, if you don't know. By the way, if you are jumping in, I said it a little earlier, if you do come in from the crochet crowd, write TCC or something and let me know if you're new, and tell me where you're from. Love to hear from you guys. Thank you, Chris. Well, and so we're moving, and you know, got to take everything down. I still have my tree up, so I was like doing the holdout until my birthday, because my birthday was New Year's Eve, so we celebrated. I like to keep the tree up for New Year's, but now I think today is the day, so we're gonna pull that down and really start kind of going. This is the last day we have for the kids for break today, so they're still hanging out with us today, so you might hear a little bit of rattling with the kids coming down for breakfast. And anyway, so we sign off next week on Monday, and then we start moving and have like until the 12th. So I'm not sure I'm gonna get to broadcast on Monday. If I do, it might be like late in the day. So I just want to get that off right up the bat, because I don't remember what time we're closing. So but anyway, we do close on Monday. So basically this week and next week I am not doing the daily broadcast, but I promise you I will be coming back to broadcasts. I just won't be able to do it right now while we're moving, and I'm sure you guys completely understand. So if you don't know, oh hey Karen, you're new. Oh yay, and you're a loom knitter. Thank you, and welcome to GoodKnitKisses. Hope everyone gives her a warm welcome. Thank you, Debbie. The congratulations on moving. Yeah, you look forward to seeing my new place. Yeah, me too with all my stuff. Yeah, and when I broadcast, I'll probably keep everything limited to just that space, but I might give y'all a little bit of a tour when it's like really set, because when you move, it might not take, like, it might not be. Mm. I'm not the Pinteresty mom where I'm like making everything like pristine before you guys see it, so you might not see it so awesome. So, um, yeah, so anyway, I'm excited to be the new Yarnspirations knitting host. If you didn't see that video, go check it out on the channel, and I talk about a lot of the new things for the new year. Very exciting. But I didn't get to mention, I thought I did, but I didn't like really go into it. But Yarnspirations, basically I can do whatever pattern on their site that I want to do, and then any other new stuff. So like the lookbooks that come up and everything, I can pick from those, and if I like find an old pattern that I want to do, I can refresh it and make it new again with new yarn and maybe make a change. And so I have plans to, they have some men's scarves that are on there, and I was thinking of, I've got a couple of them in mind that I want to do. So get your Bernat Softy Chunky yarn and pick your favorite color for the man in your life, or the woman. It doesn't matter, but anyway, to start the new year off, and that will be one of the videos I'll be working on this coming, this January, this month, and we're going to be planning out days and releases and all that stuff soon. But some of that stuff's still in the work. We're a little sluggish just because this is new for me. I didn't have a whole lot of time for planning. So anyway, we'll be doing that. And then if you see something else. So by the way, if you're not familiar with SpinRite, they have, we got Bernat, Karen, Lily Sugar and Cream, and Peyton's. And if you go onto Yarnspirations, like inspirations, but yarnspirations.com, scroll down to the bottom, and there's this thing called the Inspiration Machine. And there's like 4 little slides on there. You can click on Express It, Commit It, Season It, and Give It. And you can select and check the box where it says knit or crochet. So if you want to just see knitting, uncheck the box for crochet. And you can hit this surprise me and see what it comes up with. And like, it's all slid over on like active, on expressives to active, but I can click to the next thing and it says bold. The next one says fun, relaxed, romantic, simple, timeless, urban. And then like in the commit to it, it gives you levels of experience. So you got beginner, and then you got easy, intermediate, and experienced. And then on season it, there's fall, like all the seasons. And then give it is, let's see, the different things are baby, cat, charity, dog, home, kids, men's, women's. Anyway, and so those are the different ones. You click on them, and then you hit search or surprise me, and it's totally random. And then there's also like an advanced search. So get on there because it's really cool. So if you're trying to find a pattern and you don't know what you want, it's really kind of a cool way of searching their database in a new way. So I like it. It's kind of fun. It's like a bingo or something. It's just a surprise raffle thing. Good morning to my daughter, one of my kiddos. Don't come on camera.
But I want a pizza.
You want pizza? No, there's none. Okay, she's in her PJs. I'm like, don't come on camera. So, okay, let's see. I'm gonna scroll through. Happy Monday. Good morning, everyone. Hey, Summer, I see you joined me. Oh my goodness. So Summer Cromartie. Summer, thank you. Summer came over and helped me. She helped me with getting all my studio ready, or the majority of it, and like skinnying up some things and pulling stuff out. And I gave her this Swift, which is where you can put a big hank of yarn and then you can spin it down into a ball. Or at least you can put the thing on there and like give it, and then you can knit or crochet from the Swift. I don't even know if it works because I was given it. So hopefully, Summer, you'll have to tell me if it works. Good morning, Summer, and Happy New Year. Hi, Alicia. What are we talking about? We're talking about Yarnspirations. I was talking about how to find a pattern on their database, and you can have it surprise you. But it says Inspiration Machine. It's really a clever idea. So hi, Summer. I see you saying hi back. Debbie says, I'm recuperating for elbow surgery. When I can crochet again, you're thinking about starting a temperature Afghan. Oh, has anyone made it before? There are a ton of people over on the Crochet Crowd who have done the temperature Afghans. I think there's groups on Facebook for temperature Afghans. Michael Selleck, Mikey with Crochet Crowd, he created, like if you do a temperature Afghan, go look on my page, but there's a link to one. And so I thought it was a little clever idea. He did like a little temperature, like a thermometer with the little ball at the top and the little, you know, so you can like put all your colors that are in your Afghan. And so it lets people know like what the temperature is. So like the lowest temperature color would be at the bottom and then working your way up to the hottest. And so I thought that was really clever. And then you just kind of, I guess you stitch it on top of your blanket and Afghan. And you could probably make a knit version too. It was a crochet pattern that he came up with. I thought that was pretty cool. So you could even like, if you want to make, like once you decide them, I would think that the temperature thing would even be helpful to you. Like if you make that at first and then you would like, that would be your guide. Also, when you're talking to people about it, they can go, oh, okay, I see, I understand. So anyway, yeah, Summer, let me know. You love the Yarn Inspiration site, Debbie? And then Debbie, if you have a pattern that you think is really awesome that we should check out, please let me know. If y'all have a knitting pattern, sorry if it's too loud, I got my kiddos up now. If you find a knitting pattern that you're interested in me making a pattern for, like I've been making a video for, knit along, please let me know, because and put them in the comments here, because I would love to check that out and make that for you guys, because now I have permission to do that. So especially if they're small. I saw some baby booties. They released a top 10 of what they did last year, what people loved, and there was some knit baby booties on there. So I don't know if you guys would like to see me make any. Let's see. Oh, Chris said she made one last year, temperature blanket. It's ginormous. Twice as long as you are tall, you have to, oh my gosh, you have to finish December. So you only have December left in your temperature Afghan? That's really awesome. See, I'm not sure about making something like that. I don't know. That's pretty committed. I mean, I applaud you, because I don't know. I'm not very good with long form knitting like that, like, and like keeping up with all the changes. And yeah, I'm better at like, if I buy all the things in advance and then I've got it, but when the weather changes like that, but I know that some people like pick a significant year for them. It's not just what it was this past year. So anyway, I don't know. You love this, Gigi? Yeah, so hey Alicia, okay, is there a loom pattern for temp pattern for the loom knit? Sorry, I read that funny. Anyway, is there a temp pattern for a loom knit? Go to Ravelry.com and I would go check. You can search for temperature pattern and then make sure the box is checked off. We have someone wandering in. Make sure the box is, checked off for loom knitting. But yeah, you want to be sure and check. I'm sorry, I have a kiddo join me. What's up?
I turned the use on for you.
Thank you. That was really kind. Love you. Thank you.
I'm gonna go upstairs.
Okay. She turned on, she put some oils on for me, Thieves from Young Living. Isn't that sweet? She heard me talking about my throat. It really helped me the other day, I'm telling you. Yeah, does it have to be your inspirations pattern, Lisa asked. That's a good question. If you want a pattern done that's not mine, unless the designer is asking me to make it, I was just answering this question earlier, but if the designer is asking me to make the pattern, or maybe it's something that a bunch of people have asked me and I'm like, well, I guess I could ask the designer, then I'll ask them. But right now I'm committed to working for Yarn Inspirations for the year, and I will be doing other things besides that, but I'm committed monthly to work on their patterns, and so I would love to be able to pick one that you guys like that's on their site or from the lookbooks coming up, and I'll get to, I've already seen the one for February, so I'm kind of looking at that right now. And so if you find one that you like on their site, that would be best. If you see one of mine, I can totally do one of my patterns if it's small enough. I mean, some of the big ones are kind of hard to do. I have a lot of smaller patterns though. Let's see. Good morning. Martha says, have you ever thought about doing crochet pot holders? God bless you and the family this year. Thank you. I haven't. I've done more like, I like the loom, like a loom knitting pot holder and stuff. And I've done the crochet dishcloth and stuff like that. But no, I haven't done any crochet pot holders. I guess I could. If you find one on there, let me know. And of course, Michael Selick with the Crochet Crowd is your crochet guy for your inspirations. And so I might make the occasional crochet thing like of a Your Inspirations pattern, but mostly he's going to be doing that. And it doesn't mean I won't do crochet, but I will be, you know, I normally spread my stuff out between needles, loom knitting, and crochet. But with Your Inspirations, I am going to be heavier on the needles, and then I'd like to also do whatever I do in needles. I'd like to also do them on the loom, or at least show you how to convert it. So it might be a video on how to convert it and talking about some of those things. So we're going to see how that develops and works. I'm working that out. So let's see. December. Oh yeah. Okay. So Chris is Tipatrafkian. She's finished her gifts and stuff. So yeah. It seemed like a good idea at the time. You're hilarious, but it's great that you are gonna finish it. So I applaud you. Yeah, that was my oldest daughter. Let's see. Summer says in the Facebook temperature blanket group you're in. Oh, hey Summer, do you have a link to that? Anyway, there's a few people who used a loom knit for there. They're awesome. Oh, sweet. Man, if you had a link to that group, that would be awesome. I'm sure that she would, anybody would appreciate those. Okay, Lori has a question. You have the 28-inch loom that you want to do a double knit on. What's the difference in the width mean? Okay, now there's the 28-inch loom that they make, that Knitting Board makes, and then they make a 38-inch. I mean, the difference in that, if you're asking about that, I mean, it's the size of the board, but typically you can get a, bless you, typically you can get a panel that's wider than what is on that loom, unless you did something like super, like tight, and then it would be thinner. But on the double knit, on that particular loom, usually people are double knitting, and anyway, it's actually stretchier. So, but the difference in the width is, you know, how wide it is, that particular loom physically is. So like it's measured 28-inch, but that does not mean that's the size of knitting you get. Does that make sense? Jennifer says she's having issues with sizing for hats when you knit. If I'm knitting hats for people and don't have their actual size head, where's a standard chart with the yarn thickness? Is there one out there? If that makes sense. Jennifer, if you go on GoodKnitKisses.com, actually anybody, if y'all would like to go and explore my site, I have a lot of information on there on charts. If you'll go to GoodKnitKisses.com, click on the icon with the little magnifying glass for search, and just type in hat chart, or just type charts, and it will show you all the articles that apply to that. If you click on it, I have like general sizing on there. That actually talks about like standard sizings. It's a combination of sizings from many different charts, and so it gives you a range for sizes for people and that kind of thing, and so you can kind of guesstimate, and then it actually gives you more information than what I'll go into right now. But I would go on a little bit larger size, but don't go to like a men's size. If you know it's women, if you know they're kind of a petite head, then obviously you wouldn't go to like the largest size, but you want to measure that on the most relaxed part. But you also can make a gauge swatch and make a small swatch and in the main stitch pattern, and you're going to measure that to get a better idea of what it's going to do. When you have it on a loom, it gets really stretched out, so it's not necessarily true. And as far as length goes, it's just how long you knit. Now there's some people are like, oh, you have to do this many rows. Well, that's a misnomer, because depending upon the size of loom you have, or needles, or whatever it is, and then the thickness of your particular yarn, and then your tension and your stitching, it's going to be wildly different from someone else's. And so that's why when we talk about knitting hats, we talk about the length that we actually work versus how many rows. I know that there are some charts out there that people have, but it's kind of dangerous to say, I mean, not dangerous. Okay, it's not really dangerous, but dangerous as far as like sizing goes, to trust that. You want to, the best way for anything is to make a swatch. I know some people don't like that. They feel like they're wasting their time, but you're really not wasting your time. If that helps at all. That's the short version. I know that doesn't sound short. Chris, I hope they're coming out with more knit patterns. They seem to favor crochet. Chris, be sure and could you ask them on their Facebook page if you guys want more needle patterns. Be sure and write it on the Yarnspiration stuff and tell them that you're looking forward to more knit patterns from them this year. So they need to know that that's a demand. They've had so much heavy crochet, and that's great, but when the people ask, that's going to get some attention. Be like, I'm looking forward to Kristen and more needle patterns this year. Are you guys coming out with more? You could ask them in the form of a question. They're very responsive. So thank you, Summer, for the name of that group. I appreciate that. Y'all look down below for Summer Cromartie. She talks about the name of the group. It's called Temperature Blanket Yarn Dash Along. So, and she'll look for a link. So let's see. Let's see. Oh, here's the group. I'm sorry. I'm behind in my scrolling. Thank you for the link. Hey, Heather, I see you. No, the little piece of wood on the side. I'm sorry, Lori. I'm way behind in answering you. Okay, the little piece that's on the side. So you have the long, I'm seeing if I have a loom. My looms are all packed. You got the long board, and then you have the little piece on the side. Depending on how you turn it, it's 1 centimeter versus 2 centimeter versus 3 centimeters. So depending on how you turn it, it makes it bigger. And that is the length that your yarn will travel from the front of the board to the back of the board, and can make it wider as far as how stretchy it is. Also, if you twist your stitches, like if you're going around the pegs and you're twisting and then going up to the next one and twisting, versus going around the peg on the outsides of the pegs and not twisting, twisting will make it stretchier. It'll make it more of an open weave. So if you don't like seeing through it, then I would just go around the pegs versus looping around, if that makes any sense. You're going to have a true V, like where your stitches are going to be a V shape, a true V shape stitch when you're just going around the fronts of the pegs versus like twisting it, you know, like an E-wrap almost. Otherwise it's a Y, and what it does is this V becomes misshapen. It pops over. Let's see if I can do that with my longer fig. No, I can only do it this way. But it makes like a Y sort of shape, and like this little bumpy part makes it to where it's like a stretchy thing. I don't know how to explain it a little bit better, but basically an E-wrap is going to make it stretchier, and so it'll actually make it wider, but it could have more holes in it. So if you didn't want the holes, you would have to like thicken up your yarn, if that makes sense. Debbie says hard double pointed knitting needles are hard to use. I want to make a knit beanie. The double pointed knitting needles, DPNs, I like them. Now I don't make them double knit, but I don't think you're actually saying that. But no, I don't think they're hard to use, but at first, you know, they can be kind of fiddly to use, especially the first row or two, and then once you get going, it's fine. But you do have to get used to them, and then you want to get some point protectors, so that if you put your knitting down, you don't have stitches are sliding off, then you got these extra things. So, and then you want to make a knit beanie. Yeah. It works really well, especially for decreasing. There are a lot of patterns. I have a pattern for making a hat on a straight knitting needle. And then you have to, it's decreased, it's a flat panel, and then it's decreased to one side, and then you seam it up the side, and that works fine. But if you have DPNs or circulars that you can have like a shorter cord on, or use the magic loop method, you can actually decrease down really nicely, and knit in the round. I like using the DPNs, especially when it gets really, really small. I think it's easier to use double pointed needles for that. So let's see. Summer. She's got a bunch of links. I don't know which one works, but thank you. Let's see. You always use a tape measure because your tension could change. Yeah, definitely, Jennifer. Dawn says, Debbie, she loves double pointed needles. They're like anything else, takes a bit to use. Yeah, exactly. It is the best way to make decreases. I would agree with you. Martha, you're looking at online shopping. Does your shopping have catalogs like mail order? Oh, I have like kind of a shop page on my website, if you're referring to that. And it's nothing that well, I have one of my books on there that it's just a link that gets to Amazon. It's a affiliate link. So if you click on it, I might get something from that. But so my Amazon store is a bunch of things that maybe I would recommend, or there are things that are available. I've tried to do things that were available for loom knitting just to kind of put it sort of in one spot. However, there's way more than I could even put on there. So it's not my store necessarily. Now that's the Amazon store. Then I have a link to my Etsy store. So if you wanted a PDF, it's got Etsy and Ravelry and other places that I sell any online digital PDFs. But I don't have any hard products that I personally sell other than my book. The book is in an ebook format. I prefer to sell it as a PDF that's from me, but you can buy it in the Kindle version. I don't like how Amazon and some of the other places have converted it, because I don't think it works as well on Kindle, but you can get it. I did it so people can get it, but I would rather just do the PDF, give you the PDF, well, sell you the PDF. The hard book, though, what it is I have a distributor that distributes to like 39,000 places worldwide. And what it is I don't have to handle any product, and it just, like, you buy it and it gets sent to you. So what happens is it goes to a printing house that's local to you, local-ish in your country, and then would ship to you. Or it prints in the closest country. And like if you're in Europe, I don't know which country it would be printed in, but it would get printed relatively close to you. It wouldn't be like printed in the States and then shipped overseas. That's not how it works. So if that helps. Let's see, Summer. Yes, again, Summer, thank you for the group name. Okay, Lori, yeah, that's about the depth. We'll have to, Lori, we may need to chat offline here in a private message. Summer saying she did lots of loom stuff 8 years ago and never knew you didn't have to loop versus go around the front of the peg. Yeah, life-changing. Yeah, so if you are making an E-wrap stitch, that is the same as knitting through the back loop or a twisted knit stitch on needles. And so if you knit from the front, just go around the front of it. That is more of a truer knit stitch shaping, like in a V form versus this Y, this twisted form. And there are different tensions that you can use that can cause the stitch sizing to change. So if you loosely lay it over the front and then lift the bottom loop over the top, that's a flat. If you kind of hold your working yarn to the back of the loom and it kind of makes this U sort of shape, but you're not twisting, and then you lift it over and keep your tension loose, that's a U-knit stitch. And then if you reverse purl, like basically you hold the yarn over the top of the loop and then pull the new loop down from the old one and then pull off the old thing and put it back on. Anyway, you do that. It's kind of this traditional knit, or true knit is what people call it. Some people call it a reverse purl because you do the opposite way that you would do a purl stitch. So yeah, but U-knit stitch is faster. You just have to be careful not to pull the tension too much. Otherwise it gets way too tight. So Jennifer, what's better for hats, DPN or circular? That's a personal choice. It really is. There are people who love the magic loop method and they swear by it, and they're like, if you're not using it, then you're crazy. I don't like the magic loop. I mean, I guess it's okay, but it kind of frustrates me because if you're not familiar, a circular needle has a cable that goes between the two. Okay, it has this. It's not a string, but it's like a elongated cable, flexible, and if you're knitting in the round and you have too much cable, what you do is you kind of pinch it between two stitches and then kind of let it pull out so that you're like knitting in this tight little area. But I don't like that because I think it kind of stretches those stitches out, and then it's kind of fiddly to me. I don't like that. I would rather just have a couple of DPN needles and just go and work until I have nothing left, and that's easier for me. So, but it depends on you. It really depends on you. That's what's so cool about knitting and loom knitting and crochet. Like, you can choose the tool that works for you because we're all different people, right? So it makes it harder though when you've never done it before. So I would say if you have a crafty friend, who has some of those things, be like, hey, do you mind if I borrow this, or come and we have like a time where we can sit down and play or whatever. Or like, maybe in one of your crafty groups, say, hey, I was wondering if anybody didn't want any of their old needles they want to sell me, or make a trade, and I've got a this or that. I don't really encourage that in my group. There are groups that do that kind of thing, but if you wanted to do that, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of creative ways for you to try something. Dawn says she loves DPNs for toe-up socks. Yeah, it works really well. Debbie hasn't tried making socks. Another project to try. Yeah, some people are big sock people, and then others can't stand it. I want so hard to work on socks like crazy. I want to make socks for my family, but I find that when I start working on socks, I'm like, is it over yet? So I do love them. I've heard some from other designers, and a little tip for designing and stuff is they're like, I love to design socks and baby sweaters because they're like a very small version of things that you can do. Like, so, like, anyway, it's a good way to test out patterns. It's like doing a swatch, but it's an actual project. I'm like, oh, I never really thought about that. Like even doll sweaters or something. So socks are a way to kind of test out knitting a stitch in the round, because you've got so many stitches, but the gauge is just small. So it's almost like if you were trying to do a hat pattern in a special technique. So that's a little tip for you. So if you want to try out something that doesn't take up much space, and you want to test something bigger for knitting in the round, or test a pattern, then you could do it on a sock, I guess, and do the cuff. Let's see. Dawn says, is answering Jennifer. She works hats on circulars. And then she switches to DPNs when the decrease happens. Yeah, I have done that too. Yeah, and there are patterns that will call for that. There might be a pattern that calls for straight needles and circular, or straight and DPN, or even circulars and DPN. I was working on the Bernat Stitch Along back in October, and it requires a circular needle, but it was to make the blanket like on a flat panel. And then it required DPNs. So when you're working on the cable that went along the edge, it was actually easier because you only had a few stitches. And then that circular needle with I forget how long the cable was, 36 inches or something, or 24. You pick up all the stitches and it becomes like this glorified stitch holder. So that was really nice. Chris doesn't like the magic loop either. Yay! You can't wrap your head around it. I can wrap my head around it. I just don't like, I don't know. I don't like it that much. And then some people use the magic loop and they knit 2 socks at once at the same time using the magic loop method. Like, if that doesn't blow your mind, and I've seen it. And one of my friends who comes to my knitting group, she loves it. Always doing it. She's like, I get my 2 socks done. I never have a problem. And so it works for her. So by the way, if you are on a knitting loom and you want to do 2 socks at the same time, and they don't need to be like a fine gauge, excuse me, let me get some more coffee. You can use the all-in-one loom, which is a small gauge. It's a 3/8, and you can get an extra, you can buy an extra slider and you can make 2 socks at once on a loom. So that works too. And if you have an EFG or an extra fine gauge loom, forget it. You're gonna have to do one at a time, or buy 2 looms. So let's see. Ada says, let's see. Okay, you would like to see you do a top. Oh, me do a top. You like a blouse? I mean, like a sweater or something. A top with a bolero on the looms. Oh, yeah, top with a bolero. Yeah, I actually did. I did this. My dewdrop shawl. Yeah, you can take it and then like kind of pinch it and then sew together the sides and kind of do a bolero. But yeah, I mean, we could do that. Dawn says she took a class on Craftsy for hats for 4 ways and learned the different ways. Yeah, Craftsy is really great for glasses too. Let's see. Yeah, it blows your mind knitting 2 socks at once, Jennifer. Yeah. The sock machine, Alicia. Yeah, I've heard from people who do the sock machine. They enjoy them. There's some antique sock machines. They call them antique. I don't know what year they're made, but they're really cool. I mean, you just crank them along and I don't know. It looks incredible to me. So yeah, Jennifer, yeah, to knit socks and a sweater. I would start with one at a time. How do you eat an elephant, guys? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So I know a lot of people like they have like these really big goals, especially when they first get started. I'm gonna make a sweater. I'm gonna make a this or that. It's like, well, like start with the basics and then work your way up. You can totally do it. Some people they do a big sweater as their first project and they totally rock at it. But a lot of people need to like kind of bring it back a little bit and then and learn some of those basics like the wrap and turns and things like that. You need to know how to do short row, working a short row for those things too. Learning how to work a flat panel, and also learning how to knit in the round. A sweater is nice because you can knit, it depends on what it is, but you can knit it in one piece or you can knit it in pieces and you can do sections. That's really a cool thing if you start with a cardigan and making things in sections and learning how to put it together and sew it together. And when I say sew it, if you're not familiar, you're actually sewing it with your tapestry needle and the same yarn you used. So, oh, your husband's wanting you to make some caps with the hole to get for the hair out on the top. Yeah, like the messy bun and stuff. Can it be done on loom? Is it hard for a beginner? No, it's not hard. Any hat pattern can be like a messy bun or a ponytail holder have an opening on it, because basically you're just not finishing the hat, but there's different ways that you can kind of treat that opening. I converted my pattern. I have a needle and a loom pattern for my slouchy hat or newsboy hat, and so it's got like a soft brim on it. And so I converted that. If you want to go look on my site, I've got it for free, or you can get the PDF for convenience fee on there on Ravelry. But the needle one is not written on there, but it's similar, but it's just worded for needles. But anyway, the way I did it is I had Joanne test it. I have a few other people do it now. Sorry, I'm looking at something. And we finished it off like with when I did the crown, I did a decrease, and then we did a 1x1 ribbing. So I knit, purl for a few rows, and then just loosely binding it off. You can also put elastic in it, bind off with elastic. You can just do a simple bind off, and then it's kind of a harder thing. I like the ribbing closing. It just seems like a softer close. And anyway, there's different ways to do it, and it's not hard. It's not that hard. Like some people will even do the regular drawstring and then they just stop it short of closing it all the way and then make a knot and cut it and be done with it. But it's very rigid. I think that it would wear on your yarn that's at that opening. And so to finish it off by binding it off, that would be a little bit more rugged for you. Like it would endure longer. So Debbie, great analogy. You get overwhelmed. Oh man, what analogy did I do when she said that? Susan says, I made a few drop shawls and it doesn't look anything like mine, and you followed the video. So when you pull, okay, depending upon your yarn, Susan, for the dewdrop, I totally appreciate what you're saying. It depends on the yarn. It depends on the draping of that yarn. And it might be simply that what you might want to do is if you have like a line that you can kind of attach it to, like a drying line or something that you can kind of hang it across and clip it onto somehow, and maybe take like a steamer and kind of steam the yarn a little bit to kind of block it a little bit. And if it's acrylic, you want to be careful. You don't want to kill it to where it's just like, but be careful with that. But it might be that it just the yarn needs to relax a little bit, and it might be just kind of kinked up. And then I will block it as far as I'll actually stretch it like the long way and kind of let it just be stretched. You could even wet it and pull it straight and let it dry. It probably will take a while to do it that way, but that way you get the kinks kind of worked out, and that would make a difference in how it kind of presents and how it looks. But again, like what I did, it has a nice hang to it, a draping. Like if you ever had like a really nice, pretty dress that like has flow to it when you lift it up, it kind of like has this real pretty draping like that. Or you might have a dress where you lift it up and it just kind of is like jagged. It doesn't have a nice drape if it has this kind of jaggedy look to the dress, like satin versus a chintz. Does anybody know what a chintz cotton is? It's like that. I liken it back to the 80s when you saw chintz is sort of hard to say, because like if it got crumpled, imagine a chintz that gets crumpled, so it has like this glossy front to it, but it's a cotton, and then when it gets all crumpled, it just looks bad, and so it doesn't really hang very well. But like a satin, if you lift that dress, like the edge of the dress, and then it has this real pretty draping, that's what you want. You want a yarn that kind of hangs like that. It's going to have a little bit of a weight to it versus like a sock yarn that might just be lightweight and airy, but it doesn't like actually have a weight to it where it hangs. Does that make sense? So that it might have to do mostly with the yarn. I'm saying it's probably not your skills, it's probably just the yarn. Let's see, Jennifer says she's your YouTube taught for 2 years and only accomplished blankets learning. You're learning hats now, that's backwards. Oh yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Well, hopefully we'll get some new patterns on there that for you to start off. Hey Ellie, I see that where you joined. I don't know if you've commented yet. You love to knit sweaters, Ada? That's awesome. Good morning, good morning. Happy New Year, Christine. Thanks for joining me. I'm gonna go back and see if I missed anything else. If I missed your question, just copy paste it and throw it in later. Throw it in again. If I missed it, I'm kind of scrolling back through here. Let's see what time I was. Okay, I'm getting close to when I said I would stop. Let me see if I missed anybody's questions. I am excited about the Yarn Inspirations deal. It's going to be really great to be able to teach you guys stuff from there. Okay, I'm going to scroll back up. I don't think I missed any questions. So basically, I'll be able to grab a pattern from the Yarn Inspiration site or lookbooks and things coming up. I will work it up on needles, and then if I'll be able to even do a loom pattern, or I might even do like a Facebook Live and say, okay, here's the needle pattern, and then here's how you convert it to loom. So I might even do it that way and then throw that up on YouTube as well. I've also got some other things coming up with other people, and I talked a little bit about that on last Monday. And anyway, so yeah, I hope my allergies get better today. But yeah, we're gonna take down the tree and finish moving. So I'm so glad you guys joined me. Oh, thank you. Thanks for my time. Thank you so much. You're welcome. I enjoy seeing you guys, and it's really hard for me because it's like we're like in my living room and we're chatting and we're having our own little knitting circle. I'm just the only one who could do the physical talking, but I really missed you guys. Like it felt really weird. Like by Wednesday last week, I was like, I felt really weird. Like I didn't even know what day of the week it was. So, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Oh my gosh, I missed you guys. So, anyway, yeah, Chris, can't tell you how happy Yarn Inspiration's putting out some effort for knitters. Yeah, exactly. Yay for loom patterns, Christine. Yay. Anyway, bye everyone. I hope you have a great day. And just again, if you're joining me live, that's great. But if you come back and you find another pattern, be sure and write replay and say pattern request or something like that. So anyway, I hope you have a great day and a great week. Y'all happy knitting and crochet, and I'll see you as soon as I can. Bye.